So the video starts off with a really creepy guy talking about how Mesopotamia had pagan culture.
These pagans generated a number of myths and superstitions about the origin of life and the universe.
Oh yeah, that's a given. Every culture does that.
One of these was the belief in evolution.
No.
According to the Sumerian Enuma Elish epic, life first appeared spontaneously in water, then evolving one species from another.
The Enuma Elish. You want to know about the Enuma Elish? The Enuma Elish was indeed a Babylonian written epic, and it is indeed about the creation. But you see, it was written after they had already decided how creation happened, because the Enuma Elish was written so that when Babylon became the center of the world, the patron god of Babylon, Marduk, could be given a proper place amongst the gods in heaven. It was basically rewriting history, and they knew that, and they did it to get away with it. So they made a whole new thing, and they made this epic about Marduk the god, and it was pretty cool. As what it actually says, humans were made by water gods. We didn't spontaneously form from water. And what's more, we don't even have the whole thing. There's an entire missing tablet of text that we can't fucking find.
Some Greek philosophers, calling themselves materialists, accepted only the existence of matter and counted matter as the original source of life.
Actually, no. The materialists didn't say that there was only matter. The materialists said that matter was the only thing we could prove to exist. Big difference there.
Consequently, they resorted to the myth of evolution, inherited from the Sumerians, to explain how living beings came into existence.
Probably not, because as far as I know, the Greeks and Sumerians never had any contact with each other. They were too far separated in space and time. But even if they had, do you have any proof for this claim? No, it's a load of bullshit. Shut up.
These two concepts from idol-worshipping cultures were introduced to the modern world in the 18th century.
I love how you call them idol-worshipping cultures. Again, make them seem like they're fucking evil, and that this whole evolution myth is evil, which, again, it's not a myth in the first place, and it's not evil. It's the way things go. And, no, it wasn't introduced in the 18th century. The Greeks and Romans and the Sumerians, and actually humans for a very long time, have always known that change happens over time to different animals, and that they can breed things. How else would we have dogs? But they never knew how the fuck to explain it. It wasn't until the 18th century that the first person ever came up with that idea. Got it?
Some European intellectuals, influenced by ancient Greek sources, who accordingly adopted materialism with one common belief. They were completely against the very idea of monotheistic religion.
What the fuck? No, you couldn't have been against monotheistic religion because the Inquisition would have fucking killed you. Also, the scholars who looked up Greek information, they were the ones who started the Renaissance, as in they took us out of the Dark Ages that Christianity put us in!
In this context, the French biologist Jean-Baptiste Lamarck was the first person to give a detailed account of the theory of evolution. Lamarck's theory, which was later refuted, maintained that living beings evolved from one another through slight variations over time.
Yeah, Lamarck was indeed the first person to suggest what we might call a theory of evolution, but his idea was debunked, as rightly stated, because it didn't say that there was change over time. It said that change over time happened because things wanted it to. And that really didn't make any sense, and it was completely unprovable.
It was Charles Darwin who repeated and popularized Lamarck's views, albeit in a slightly different form.
No! That's wrong! Darwin didn't steal Lamarck's idea. Darwin may have looked at Lamarck's idea, but no, Darwin came up with his own theory, and it's not a different way of looking at the same thing. It's a very, very different thing altogether. Lamarck believed things wanted to change, so they did. Darwin was able to prove that things change because of their environment. You don't just grow a longer neck because you want one. You grow a longer neck so you can reach the higher leaves in the trees and so that you can make better sound over the savannah so other animals can hear you. You get it? And what's more, debunking Lamarckian evolution doesn't have anything to do with Darwinian evolution because one is better than the other.
Darwin's book was in reality a detailed version of the evolution myth, originally introduced by the ancient Sumerians.
And then the ancient evil Aniki came from the planet Nibiru and shot John F. Kennedy because he was going to reveal what had really happened at Roswell and what was going on in Area 51, and that's why we had to fly the planes into the 9/11 towers. Conspiracy theory!
His theory maintained that all the different species came from a common ancestor that appeared in water by chance.
No. His theory maintained no such thing. His theory maintained that life diversifies through random mutation and natural selection. Natural selection, of course, not being random at all. It says nothing about chance, and it says nothing about abiogenesis or how life came to be. You want to know why? Because Darwin didn't need to talk about that. He didn't want to. His theory was about how life diversified, not how life first appeared, and Darwin never said that it just appeared randomly either.
Which every living species had sprung from over time, again by chance.
There is only one part of evolution that is random, and that is the random mutations that occur. It's random events chosen by natural selection. Okay? Nothing random about that.
Paleontologists in particular were aware that the entire theory was largely a figment of his imagination.
I hear it coming! I hear it coming!
The fossil record revealed that living things did not undergo an evolutionary process from primitive to the complex.
The entire fossil record is a testament to evolution.
Trace of transitional forms that Darwin assumed to have existed.
Assumed to have existed? What? What do you mean? Like Tiktaalik? Do you mean like Archaeopteryx? Do you mean Australopithecus afarensis? Do you mean Amblicitus natans? Which one? Which one are we missing? Because we have pretty much all of the forms between the major forms of life.
Biochemistry revealed that life was too complex to have emerged by chance as Darwin claimed.
The field of biochemistry is actually the thing that has proved evolution beyond the shadow of any doubt. And you guys are just completely ignoring that. But, moving onward. Darwin never talked about the origins of life. Darwin never talked about abiogenesis. Darwin talked about how life diversified. And no, none of it is random at all. It is all determined. It is all created by natural selection.
It was realized that even the random formation of the simplest protein molecule was impossible, let alone a living cell itself.
Yes, random. Abiogenesis is not random.
Anatomy, on the other hand, showed that living beings had distinct designs and were created separately.
Anatomy shows the same thing that biology shows, the fossil record shows, that, you name it, biochemistry. Every single piece of evidence we have points to evolution. Homologous structures, anyone?
In brief, Darwin's theory lacked a scientific basis.
Darwin's theory lacks no such thing.
However, the theory was quick to gain political support, since it did provide the so-called scientific basis for the dominant powers of the 19th century.
In other words, this theory allowed Hitler to gas the Jews. Bullshit. Well, that's about all the time I have for that dipshit. I hope you guys enjoyed my entry to the first round of the Pwnage Olympics. I gotta go. Do something that involves stuff. Peace, love, flowers. Mwah. And as for what the actual wording is, inuma elis la nabu samu seplis amatium summa la zakrat zu abma resutu zarisun mumu tiamet malatuna grimisun. You have to forgive me, my Sumerian is positively atrocious, but that is the first four lines of the Enuma Elish.